Thank you, Mr. Chair. Madam Secretary, aloha. It's good to see you. I want to commend you and recognize you and your department on a number of items that I think are relevant to the hearing. First of all, I detect in the questions from the other side some fundamental misunderstandings about what tribal consultation actually consists of. Essentially government-to-government interaction with the indigenous peoples of our country that occurs on many levels, but is fundamentally an interaction and a sign of respect and inclusion of the indigenous peoples. And I know this for a fact because you have been exemplary in terms of your understanding of the Native Hawaiians, the indigenous peoples of our country whose native lands are in Hawaii, and the consultation level in the Department of the Interior over your administration has been superior, and so that obviously indicates, from my perspective, a complete understanding of what consultation actually means. So that's number one. Number two, certainly, I believe that you have been exemplary in terms of your understanding of the critical threats presented to many species across our country. So in your administration of our endangered species laws, half of the endangered species in our country are in Hawaii. Clearly you have focused there. Mr. Sablan has already talked about the compacts of free association, which were critical agreements for our country on a number of levels. The Department of the Interior was central to getting the COFA over the finish line. I just met with the leaders of those countries, and they are still talking about the fact that it was a critical set of understandings and agreements. Number four, you understood and your department understood the significant and severe tragedy of the Maui wildfires and was part of a government-wide response in Lahaina and Maui overall. You took a personal interest in that. I deeply appreciate that. Number five, I believe that your management of our national parks, our treasures, as was already said, has been exemplary. And your administration of the Great America Outdoors Act, which you championed as a member of Congress, where you are now administering some $500 million a year to address our national parks, has been a very significant contribution. Number six, we are in the middle of implementing generational reinvestments in our infrastructure through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, also called the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, as well as the Inflation Reduction Act, trillions of dollars. And the Department of the Interior is personally responsible for getting out of the door and into communities tens of billions of dollars under those infrastructure laws to critical areas that I think we could all agree are essential from the perspective of our broader interests. These fall in the areas of climate resiliency, including wildfire resiliency, tribal electrification, which I think we believe is critical importance, and then legacy pollution projects where we simply have to clean up. The infrastructure dollars have been going out of your department for that. And then finally, I would note your responsibility for the territories of our country who often feel that they're not fully included, and you have embraced them both as a department and personally. These are critical parts of our country. And so those are just 7 of the areas where I believe that the department's contributions and your contributions personally have been noted, both for our country as well as for my Hawaii. And I thank you for all of that. What I'd like to do is give you a little bit of time to comment on one area that comes out of the Maui experience, and that is wildland fire management, which is an area that you are responsible for. Could you just give us a little bit of amplification of how the budget addresses wildfire prevention, which is impacting so much of our country.
Thank you so much, Congressman. And I just want you to know that one of our staff is still detailed to Maui, working with FEMA to make sure that things are right for the Native Hawaiian communities there. So the bill funding, in 2023, DOI completed more than 2.5 million acres of priority wildfire risk reduction using annual appropriations and bill funding. With the bill funding, 71% of the acres interior treated were in the wildland urban interface, protecting places where people live on or adjacent to federal lands. And I think that is some of the areas that you spoke about.
Thank you very much. And I also thank you on NAGPRO. That's really critical as well.
Gentleman's time's expired.
Mr. Chair, I ask